Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. The club that keeps giving out FC Barcelona. They just had one of their most successful seasons, if not their most successful season, since 2015 when they won the treble. And they're going into the next season, all the players having one season on the flick, signing Rashford, Juan Garcia, Ronnie, taking some players from the academy. But we're still getting huge negative news from this club, and that's regarding their German keeper, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. It was not enough costing FC Barcelona in basically all of their last 7 Champions League / Europa League exits. That just wasn't enough for Ter Stegen. He had to do more. And there is so much I've missed and so much we got to go through here. This has to be the funniest story of the summer so far. Ter Stegen case is not causing tension. He's angry at the club and has no intentions of leaving, even though he's been told by Flick that he won't play. Matt's agent's already looking for a team in case he changes his mind. So, Barcelona want to get rid of Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Chesney obviously signed, I think, 1 or 2 year extension to be the backup to Juan Garcia, who had just signed for around 25 million euros. And Ter Stegen, instead of accepting that as a human, as a man, as a living being, he doesn't want to accept it. He's just bitching around that he's lost his starting goalkeeping spot and the secondary starting goalkeeping spot. Then he was not involved in training. Then he wanted to separate separately in the gym. Ter Stegen is considering an option of undergoing surgery to address his back issues. If he does, he'll be out for several months, and Barca might now register him and could register Juan Garcia instead, plus make other moves. So this was the big thing that will lead to all of the recent obstacles. Ter Stegen wants to do the surgery now. Barca looking at the positives, that means we can register Juan Garcia and other players in the future. Ter Stegen's potential exit will release 20 million in salary, enough to register both Rashford and Juan Garcia. Because that is like the wage left for Ter Stegen, or like a yearly wage Ter Stegen had. He's not been traveling, and he's set to undergo the surgery. Ter Stegen said he will not specifically be out for 3 months. If that's really the case, the club will not be able to utilize 80% of his wages to register other players. It must be 4 months minimum. Despite what Ter Stegen said in statement, those within the club and doctors all say that his recovery time will actually be between 4 to 5 months instead of 3. So you can see that Ter Stegen is actively fighting against FC Barcelona. Ter Stegen released a statement first without Barca releasing it, and due to this, the club is filled with irritation. There are people within the board who want to remove the captaincy of Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen has been angry at the club ever since Juan Garcia's arrival materialized, and he found out that Barca wants to sell him to release the wage bill. Ooh, shocker! A team wants to move on from a player that is not good enough and that is, past his prime. This happens at every single football club. But Ter Stegen, supposedly in his own head, he is a victim. He was clear with Flick after his injury last season that he wants to return to being the main keeper. Ter Stegen, you were never supposed to be the main keeper for the past 3-4 seasons. When I talk with Barca fans about this, it sometimes it's been hard back in the day because Barca fans, it's the tribalism. I gotta support, I gotta love my players. But Ter Stegen, it's been quite obvious he should not be Barca's starting keeper. I don't know, since Roma or since Liverpool. All these reflex saves and standing positions. I think that should have been enough. A talk that couldn't convince Flick. Mats went there to the Nations League upset with the club as he didn't get minutes in last games of the season. Meanwhile, the club is angry with him. So Ter Stegen angry at Barca, Barca angry with him. Barca is angry at Ter Stegen. They believe the keeper doesn't think about the group and that he should stop being one of the captains. The club also didn't like the attitude they saw from him at the end of last season. And these are 100% valuable reasons, and when it comes to stripping of the captaincy, 100%. Because captain is not something, just because you're old, just because you've been here for a long time, you deserve the captaincy. No, you have to be a role model, especially at a club where FC Barcelona, where a lot of players are continuously being through the academy, and the players that are being brought in are usually youngsters. You need a role model. Ter Stegen, who's been at the club since 2014, 2015, he's the only player in this team that has won a Champions League with FC Barcelona. And he's behaving in this kind of a way. Breaking the coaching staff and the board all want to strip Ter Stegen of his captaincy. Everyone agrees with this. The relationship between Barca and Ter Stegen is in continuous decline. Barcelona believes Ter Stegen announcing his time off period is a ploy to hinder Juan Garcia's registration. Obviously it is, which at the club already has a plan for. They've IPC'd sale of the board. Wow, Barca really broke, man. Ter Stegen successfully undergo surgery earlier today. Club doesn't specify time off, but multiple sources suggested it would be 4 months minimum, contrary to what was said in the goalkeeper statement, plus can register Juan Garcia if the league improves in time. Obviously, Ter Stegen Ter Stegen, in his head, he wants it to be 3 months because then Juan Garcia cannot be resigned by his wage. Because for Ter Stegen, it feels like nearly he's paying for that keeper to come in. Ter Stegen will out for 4 to 5 months. Club insists. They are insisting it will not be 3 months. And a lot of that obviously has to do with the La Liga regulations so that they can register Rashford and Juan Garcia. Influential figures within the club want to strip Ter Stegen. Barcelona planning to send in their Ter Stegen medical report to La Liga sometimes next week, in which his time off 4 months will be specified. If approved, they will be able to utilize 80% of his wages to register other players. So that is the plan from FC Barcelona. Ter Stegen medical statement, which he released, is not going to be taken under consideration by the league. So they're strictly going to listen to Barca. Gavi, Kobarsi. Barcelona speaker Ter Stegen, once they return from the Asia tour, they intend to inform him of the doctor's assessment, which estimates he will be out for 4 to 5 months. The medical report will be sent to La Liga following this meeting. So they haven't even told Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen has refused to give his approval for the club to send his medical report to La Liga. Barca has opened a legal case without the player's consent. The situation is a total stoppage. Barca has opened a legal case without the player's consent. And Ter Stegen has refused to give his approval for the club to send his medical report. So what Ter Stegen clearly is doing here, he's blocking the potential registration of Rashford, Ronnie Bardghji, and most notably Juan Garcia. And that's basically the latest thing around this entire story. Marc-André Ter Stegen, who was supposed to be replaced a long time ago at FC Barcelona, actually was replaced last season. Szczesny still isn't, at the top level. But the Champions League campaign that he had, the La Liga campaign that he had, was already an immense upgrade on Marc-André Ter Stegen. The Barca fans understood that. The Barca board understood that. The Barca players understood that. Hansi Flick understood that. Everybody understood that apart from Marc-André Ter Stegen, who was out for an entire year. And we've seen goalkeepers and other players, when they get an injury, when they're older, they're going to come back even worse. Yes, Ter Stegen got some minutes towards the end of the season, but it did not matter. Going into the season, FC Barcelona was happy with Szczesny, but wanted an upgrade. They got Juan Garcia, younger, and has a huge future at this club. Then you have victim Ter Stegen, instead of understanding, it's my time to move on. Everything has a beginning and an end. So many players have left their club. I know that Ter Stegen loves the money he's being paid in Barca. I know that Ter Stegen loves living in Catalonia. But if he has any resemblance of realistic expectations in his head, he's not going to be the starting goalkeeper. And I don't even think he's as good as Szczesny, so he's not going to be the second goalkeeper. Why just don't you move on? I don't understand that. And now we have this funny situation where I think it's Ter Stegen, Rashford, Juan Garcia, like players that cannot be registered. Refused to make a report for La Liga. Barca won't be able to use 80% of his salaries paid to register Szczesny, Rashford, Juan Garcia, Ronnie, and Gerard Martin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. Shout out to Ter Stegen, man. Shout out to Ter Stegen, man. He is an up. He is an up. But for us, all right, here we have a better report. Even without being able to use 80% Ter Stegen salary to register new places, the goalkeeper refused to sign the documents. Barcelona to register Juan Garcia, Szczesny, Rashford, Gerard Martin, 21 generated from departures on agreement with Congo. And Ter Stegen injury was the easiest route, but not the only one. All right, so now Barca are in a situation where they have to find other ways to be able to register these players. And it's going to be the Congo deal and the VIP seats. But I saw a short from this when I woke up regarding the Ter Stegen situation, and then I read the reports, and I was like, I gotta talk about this, man. This has to be the funniest story of the summer transfer window. I haven't seen enough non-Barca people talk about this, and well, I should be the first one then. But funny situation. Ter Stegen is just burning even more bridges than he's understanding. Yeah, let's see the outcome of this. The VIP seats, Congo, all of that. We've seen Barca in this situation so many times when it comes to registering players. And at the end, they always manage to make it happen because, you can't have these players and them not being able to play because of some small amount of money and so on. So Barca will probably fix that. If this Ter Stegen stuff does not work, if the VIP Congo seats does not work, I have read that they potentially might need to sell some players that they would not like to sell, like Marc Casado, for example. Fermin Lopez could be on the chopping blocks as well. Maybe Gerard Martin, maybe Eric Garcia, maybe Christensen. So they will be looking at, their bench players. Might be able to sell them because it's not even about transfer money, it's about the wage. So if we look at wage, Barcelona wage, let's take a look at Barca wage. Let's see how much Ter Stegen is on. Ter Stegen is right there, around 17. I think this is pre-tax. 17. Wow, Rashford got 14. But I think it's mostly has to do with wage. I don't understand how Ter Stegen's wage is going to open up for Rashford and all the other signings. That's something I'm not understanding. And it's even not that high as of a wage. There's still question marks I have about this situation, but let's see how it resolves. Hopefully, guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez, Paris.